We are back, y'all, at the red wall. This isn't the Cream song, but we're talking about heavy robot fighting, giant robot fighting. They're heavy, but they're mostly real fucking big. Megabots Incorporated, the American robot team, had a fight yesterday, 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday. I think they live streamed it yesterday. Could be wrong. It was quite an interesting fight. The idea of a live stream, because it was more this one was more appealing to me because last time the fight took place in Japan, in a factory that over the course of 3 days, and things clearly got staged over the course of those 3 days, and a lot of it went, as some people said, WWE route, and people were very critical of the fight, but I wasn't so much, as whereas they expected something different. I didn't know what to expect, but I was also prepared for exactly what happened, because I kind of thought that might happen. I was like, it's in Japan, it's a fight, might be fixed. I thought it might have been up to entirely fixed, the whole situation. I was prepared for that. I did like Goldie being there, and this fight didn't have Goldie, but it did have the owners of the corporation as the commentators, and that was great. The thing is, they're trying to balance things with this one and figure out like how to make an actual fight versus how to make like a spectacle with the last one. But I'm glad that both happened. Both are great explorations into what we can do with technology and a new sport that's available. Excuse me. I was just thinking about what to approach next. The idea of how to balance it, or to go over the fights itself. We'll go over the fights itself, and then we can approach how to balance it through that. So the fight itself was the two robots squaring off over 3 rounds. It was boxing, and with no knockdowns, above the waist only. Boxing, as it were, strikes only, and then it was strikes. All the robot was targetable. Still no knockdowns and no holds barred. I don't remember if there was no knockdowns in the last round. Getting baked while it was happening. And in all 3 rounds, one robot clearly won. I'll link in the description. I won't say which one. But I will say that there's ways to factor in balancing. Because you had to factor in no knockdowns, because Eagle Prime could have just thrown Iron Glory on its face. Now, in the future, there's a few ways we can make it better. One, making the distinction between robots in a few ways the balancing factor, in my mind. Computing power, like the way that the robot works in just pure computing macros that can do setup moves, cortex processing power, I don't know if that's a thing, and maybe overall turning power, but that's in a different category. Mobility is another one, how fast it is, top speed, as they said. Top speed, mobility, processing power, weight, and torque, amount of power that it can displace to move another object. I think all these things are important because the amount of power a human can displace on an object generally is related to how big they are and how much muscle mass they have. So in MMA, restricting weight classes is a way to limit how much power humans can displace on each other by making their meat wagon the same size. I don't know about robots. I think that can vary hugely. So say there's a lot faster robot that's highly more sophisticated, that has a lot more computing power and a lot better technology, versus a larger, less sophisticated robot that is heavier and maybe has more like, not like so much torque as to like pull things apart, but it has like a nasty claw, like some sort of cannon on it. And that gets into putting humans in less danger, getting people further away from the action, so that you can unleash more hell on the robots, or if you're gonna try and keep people in there, making the what's it called? Uh, System that allows you to monitor the optics, that's what we'll call it, more sophisticated, and bringing better optics into a more secure location. Or you can use that as a balance system too, like amount of, like, maybe that could be part of the weighing system, the way you talk about it, isn't it's in like the overall robot weight class, and like the pilot's sarcophagus, as you will, his protection facility, how much weight class that is, and or so forth, or the unmanned robot division and the manned robot division. There's ways you can balance this, in my mind, and these are just thoughts I've had, and these are all thoughts that I'm gonna try to hopefully get heard by the good people over at the Megabots Incorporated, I think what it's called, robot company here in America. That's the holds the undisputed World Robot Championship, some shit, record. Iron Glory, not Iron Glory, Eagle Prime here in America. And we only have like 3 robots that are registered. And I don't know what the criteria should be. There's a lot of criteria to think about. I think we covered all I'd like to cover. We'll just recap it real quick. The weight classes and further things like power output, engine power, computing power, so forth, manned, unmanned, so forth, weight classes, divisions, differences, qualifications, whatever we'll call them. Also, moving citizens and people to a more secure location. I like what they did with the one team that was like up in a Connex container, like a ship, one of them shipping containers that were like made out of metal and pretty hard to bust. If you want to be a civvy watching, you could say like watch from inside one of those things, maybe with like bulletproof plastic or glass, or like a couple layers of it from like super far away. Something they would do for like say setting off a bomb, something like that. So then you can open up further. Because not having people in the one allowed them to open up further with the weaponry on Eagle Prime and so forth, and Glory Prime. I don't remember exactly what the names are. Anyways, this fight was a lot better in certain ways. Actually, a lot of ways I really enjoyed it more as a fight fan, and I will, as a fight degenerate, I will keep on watching and keep on suggesting ways to improve. Maybe in the future I will start talking about who won, but for now we're going to leave it as it is. Hopefully more robot fights to come for the future. Hopefully Kuritas Industries will join us next time, because I would like, not Kuritas, it's Tsudabashi Heavy Industries, with Kuritas or another robot that I hope they get to design another combat robot and so forth. And much competition is had between all.